Good afternoon, ladies, and welcome to Property for Chicks, our new broadcast for the week. And today we have the lovely Tylena with us, and my lovely co-host Rachael is back as well. Hello, Rachael, and welcome, Tylena.
Thank you, ladies.
Now, Tylena is a real estate agent here on the Sunshine Coast, so we're going to hit her up with a few questions about the market at the moment and how everything's going and life as a real estate agent. So, Tylena, would you like to give us a quick background, rundown, introduction to yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. So I've been on selling real estate for the last 6.5 years now here on the Sunshine Coast. I've been with Sunshine Coast Real Estate Partners for getting on three years now, so that's really exciting. My background is actually hairdressing, so coming from that client relationship base into selling real estate, it just kind of felt right, helping people and really connecting with people with their biggest asset. So 6 years and loving it. It's an absolute passion, and just meeting new people and walking with them through a journey is just really sits well with me and holds something really close to my heart, as silly as it might sound to others, but yeah, it's lovely.
Very good. And buying a house is probably one of the biggest journeys people take, so that's great. All right. Okay. Those who are watching online, you're welcome to send us through some questions throughout the broadcast, but we'll hit it off first with the big multi-million-dollar question at the moment. Tylena, is anything selling at the moment during this COVID lockdown time?
Yeah, things are selling. They have been selling even throughout the course of the whole COVID pandemic. What we were finding is that, the properties that were on the market in the couple of weeks leading into the pandemic have just had that little bit longer days on market. So average days in my marketplace is about 36 to 45 days. But what we're seeing now is that they've been sitting there some have been sitting there for 186 days, which just kind of makes the vendor sort of feel, oh, what's going on, but it hesitant at the same time, or even just taking that next step into when contracts do come to sort of take it and run, so to speak. But yes, things are definitely.
Awesome. Are you getting as many listings, or is that quite low at the moment? New listings.
Through the actual pandemic, lists were a little bit scarce, but now that we're sort of on the other side of the fence now and we're post-COVID, we're finding that the prospective vendor, we'll call them, are now calling up and just going, okay, well, is now the right time? Are things looking a little bit better? There's a little bit more certainty in the market, so things are definitely getting busy in our world, which is, we all love to sell property. That's why we're in the market. And, it always comes down to when the right time is ready for them. So, yeah, we'll just.
Do you find that's kept the prices up high then? The fact that you haven't been inundated with listings?
I think with the price side of the scenario is, I think we're very fortunate in our marketplace here on the Sunshine Coast. There's all the infrastructure, there's the new developments, with Oceanside and Stocklands and so forth that are happening in this end of town. That's been and has been for about the last 4 years been a really positive side of things, and it's an effect on our marketplace up here. So I think that's also been able to hold that level of pricing and value there.
Have you found, Tylena, that any of the vendors have had to be a little bit more reasonable on price if they were really wanting to sell through this time?
It comes back down to their circumstances. Like if there was their biggest motivation to go, okay, well, let's say we haven't had an offer, for instance, for 2 weeks of the campaign, and an offer comes in that should be considered, then it's about going, okay, well, let's get the buyer involved in that process, get them on paper, present it, and go, okay, well, look, given your circumstances that why you've come to the market, maybe this should be something you really need to consider. But it's not that real push to go, okay, well, you sell now. The market's falling from underneath us. It hasn't been. I personally haven't seen that in our agency. It hasn't been that real push, so to speak, to sort of take that offer and run.
Yeah, so you're not finding that sellers are panic selling?
No, we haven't seen any of that. What we were finding that through the mist of COVID, what we were doing is we were actually really communicating with our prospective vendors that were looking at coming to the market within those 3 months and going, okay, well, look, if you need to come to the market, then you need to come to the market for time that you're ready to make that move. But if you can hold, you don't have any of those financial pressures, then just hold out, wait and see. If that right buyer does come along, then we can marry you up. But there hasn't been in our agency that sort of, okay, I need to sell, I'm scared. There hasn't been any of those panic selling, so to speak.
That's good. Okay, let's move on to when you go to buy a house. What should people look for? What's the main thing out there, especially for ladies, if they're looking for the house and they're on their own doing it? What should they be looking for?
Okay, so for a single lady, if she was looking for herself, it comes down to what I always like to go, okay, what's your purpose? What are you looking for? I like to just understand their lifestyle. Do they like to take walks? Do we need to be beach side of the Nicklin Way, or do we need to be on the other side? Everything's sort of so it's about understanding their needs and directing them to that right property. I always encourage things like your building pest inspection and coming to those inspections and understanding from that inspection point of view what they're up for, if there was anything structurally wrong or anything like that, just so that everything's transparent and they have understanding if they are on their own in that. Yeah, but it's a lifestyle thing. You've got to want to understand what your buyer's looking for.
Yeah. Building and pest reports, we've done it for brand new properties for clients just to make sure everything was done. Man, you'd think that house was falling over the way they write those building and pest reports, and it's a brand new property. But, I think they're obviously written done by lawyers in the first place. So there's so much, we can't see this, but the house could be falling down. So, it's good to actually go on site with the person and they can explain stuff, because when you just read the report later on, oh man, that's
100%.
Yeah, I'm not buying that house. So yeah. What's the other big things with looking for property? I mean, I personally like to see where main roads are and railways and all that sort of stuff. What else would you alert people to go, hey, take a good look at this, think about this?
I don't think anything really stands out for myself when I'm talking with my buyers. And this is coming from my own marketplace. We don't, have things like the railway and so forth there, but it comes back down to, okay, do you like to take bike rides? Do you like to be near walking paths? That's a big thing in my marketplace. So it really does come back down to their lifestyle. We've got the Nicklin Way in between there. So I market in the Watala suburb, and it's having that Nicklin Way. That's the first question. Do you want to be east or west of the Nicklin Way? That's probably the biggest objection when a buyer's going, okay, well, are we near the beach pockets? There's no real sort of flagging. It
Just
can come
not
down to
on
being near
Nicklin
a
Way.
school. I need to be within just not on the Nicklin Way. Yeah, it could even be just like that. But it does even come down to school catchment. So giving that information at the front, when they're inspecting the property, asking those questions right up, comes back down to the understanding the client's needs.
Mm. Right, now, it's always said kitchens sell houses, and if a husband or wife walk in and the wife likes the kitchen, then that's it, it's a done deal. How do you find it? Is there a little more of a criteria than that when people go looking for houses?
Yes. The women always do go, oh, okay, this is a nice kitchen, or I don't have as much storage, when they are looking. But you're right, kitchen is definitely the heart of the home, and traditionally mine's most times there. But we find that, yes, if the woman really does love the house, then the husband goes, okay, well, I can compromise, I can put in the shed later, or there's room for it. The men have got the short end of the stick sometimes there.
Well, it would be my favourite place. I love the kitchen and the family area. It's such a great place for everyone to hang out. So that's what I'd be like, from my perspective, that's what I'd be looking for. It's a home that's got, a lovely kitchen and live like a living space, because that's really where you spend a lot of your time. Do you find
that's right.
Yeah. Do you find, Tylena, that when someone's selling a home, what's some of the things that are really important for them to consider in relation to getting their house ready for selling?
It's an individual case-by-case scenario. I can walk into a client's house and they live as if it is a display home. Everything has its place, and that's perfect, because that's just a clean, easy process there. We don't really have to give them too much guidance. But walking into somebody's home that they've lived in for 25, 30 years, they've got grandkids photos everywhere, and they're in an established home. It's more about going, okay, look, I know you love your home and everybody else is going to appreciate that. Let's start the process of decluttering and depersonalizing. So that's taking things like, let's get take down half your grandchildren off off the wall for their photos there, and just sort of helping them stage the home with what they've got in terms of living spaces and so forth. It is just a case by case.
Yeah. And how important do you think that is, like, to stage your home, even if it is with your own furniture and things? Do people see past the clutter, or do we need to really help the buyers not be able to see through that clutter and be able to see what they could potentially do with the house?
Yeah, so what I find with my client base is that it's a let's look past it. If it's a scenario where we go, okay, well, this is a home. I always like to, if it's a senior client, then I always like to say, look, it's grandma's home. She's loved it. She's from a generation where she takes care of it. So then they are able to look past that and just see the house for the structure that it is, not their furnishings and so forth. It's that connection that you're able to have with the buyer and get them past it. I think that if you walk in, and I've experienced it from myself as a buyer a couple of years ago, you walk past and the agent says, oh, don't mind the mess. and points it out straight away. But yeah, it is definitely just, okay, look, everything's in the garage. We're just going to walk past there for a second, and it's normal, so it's just feeling a little bit more relaxed and talking to the buyers. It is a specific topic and a purchase, but at the end of the day, it's comfort and connection.
I've had teenagers still sleeping in their beds while you're doing an inspection.
That'd be nice.
That's happened a couple of times too.
Because it's never seen the light of day in that house. So. Yes, no. And that's the other thing, other than decluttering, is a major clean. There's nothing worse. I've seen food all over the floor, and you just go, oh my goodness. So, yes. Major clean, declutter. Yeah. So, even when I sold my place, I shipped out about a quarter of the furniture just to make it look bigger and that everything fitted in. So, and then a big clean on it. So.
And do you find that does help sell? Like just taking those small steps in decluttering and, like Karin said, reorganising furniture.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good, massive big difference. There are times where it's a single senior lady where she doesn't have accessibility to families to come and help. It does make things a little bit different. Then that's where we go, okay, well look, let's work with on your side. We'll explain that. We'll get our buyers to look past it. It's really no biggie, but it's a personal thing as well for the client. Oh, but I don't want to, see my house like this. It's a pride thing there also. But I think you just take that step and walk them through that journey.
Stuff out of the place. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right. And it's starting. Starting that separation almost. Let's take yourself out of this. You've got another chapter coming. So it is. You've just got to start separating yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Right. Where are we up to? Okay. So have you only worked on the Sunshine Coast as an agent?
I have, yes. I started my career on the Sunshine Coast, yes.
Okay, well, I'll keep my question then Suncoast related for those of you who are not lucky enough to live up here. I know you're based in Watala, but what's your favourite suburb? If you had, you won a heap of money or something and you got to live anywhere on the sunny coast, what would be your favourite suburb?
My favourite suburb for me personally, I would love to be on the water, whether that be beachside Watala, but I really do need to be near the water, have that ocean view, that sea salt. So Golden Beach is beautiful, living in a unit down there. But I don't know, from a professional business side, Watala is my favourite. I
hate to say
that. That's coming from the heart.
Mine's Mooloolaba. I'm gonna have a place in Mooloolaba.
You're gonna have to spend a lot of money, but I reckon Sunshine Beach or maybe Shelley Beach, because Shelley
they're
Beach
beautiful.
is still very residential, not commercial there. So.
Yeah,
yes. But so many places to pick from, isn't there?
It's a great area.
There is, and
really
they're
expanding.
Very spoiled.
Yes, She lives in the country. So, right, Rachel, do you have any more questions?
I was going to just ask about the growth, I suppose. I mean, even with the residential, I know we do a little bit of development stuff, but just from your perspective, in relation to the growth, like there seems to be so much infrastructure going up on the Sunshine Coast. There's such great plans for what's going to be happening up there. They're saying it's it's going to really expand. What's your thoughts around that?
It's 100% accurate. I moved up here Christmas 2013, and from where it started, when I started really getting into property, had a huge increase, almost a 50% increase in actual fact, in terms of where they priced. A medium price was like 350,000. Now they're at about 560, depending on what side of the Nickel and Way you're on. But yes, there is definitely growth, and I do believe that is because of the infrastructure, which is what makes the Sunshine Coast as even more beautiful than what it already is. I think it's just going to get busier as well, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's positive at the same time.
Yeah. It won't ever be a Gold Coast. It'll still have its beautiful terrain and, you know, all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
I think it's a very special place.
Well, we're hoping
it
it
is very
come
special
to the Gold Coast. So
yeah, praying.
So, Tylena, do you have any other advice for people when they're going to buy a house? Things they shouldn't say in the earshot of an agent, or things they should or shouldn't do when they're trying to buy a house? Any tips for people?
Just be honest with yourself when you are talking with the agent, because we're here to help. We're here to make the transaction as seamless and stress-free as possible. I've been a vendor and a buyer, and I've had the stresses. And for me personally, we just want to take that away. So if you are just honest in terms of what you are, looking for and how quickly your time frame is, we're here to help. That's it. So there's no real secret, I guess, here.
Fair enough. And any other tips for people when they're selling?
Don't sell unless you have to sell, and there's only the right times when you're ready.
Very good.
That's it.
Very good. All right. Do you have any other questions you'd like to ask a real estate agent while we're at it, Rachel?
No, that's all good. That was fantastic, and yeah, it's always good to know just the basics, and as a as a single woman or a single mum, if you're looking for a home, it's so important just to know those things. So yes, thanks, Tylena. That's fantastic.
Yep, that's a very good tips for people.
No worries. Thank you both.
So declutter, clean.
Sorry.
And get everything out of the house that doesn't need to be there, basically. So yes, awesome. If you have any questions or you want to know anything about today's segment, come to our Facebook page, Property for Chicks, and put something on there and we will get back to you. Otherwise, thank you, Tylena, for coming on the show. Thank you very much. And thank you, my lovely co-host, Rachel.
Thank you.
And thank you all. We'll see you all in 2 weeks' time. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.